Hello and welcome to the dinner table, our first podcast for our podcast called The Dinner Table. I'm Carly Marotta.
Cameron Marotta.
Chloe Marotta.
We're all siblings. We have a younger sister, McKenna Marotta, who's going to be joining us sometimes and doing some social media stuff. But yeah, we decided to start a podcast.
I'm excited. First night. A little nervous.
Honestly, a little nervous as well. I think we got to get a little bit more natural here.
Get the kinks out early.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. So we're just going to tell you a little bit about the idea behind the podcast. So growing up, what we did is we'd play basketball in the backyard every single night. 21. What else did we play back there?
One-on-one. That was a big one.
Yeah, mostly just me blocking Chloe and Carly shots into the big bushes.
And as the younger sister, I would come in here crying almost every single time about how upset I was because I wasn't winning.
Mm-hmm. I was actually pretty dominant. You would
Early on?
Yeah, I was pretty dominating out there, I would say.
When I was 1 years old, maybe?
Carly.
I thought it was pretty good.
I remember you would
I wasn't like a lot bigger.
Chloe would go in crying and then get sent back out for the finish most of the time.
Yeah.
I should have clarified that was early on in the ages before I could actually play a little bit.
The things you guys got mad about with me is I would start kicking the ball like a soccer ball and juggling it, and like
well,
you guys
we only had so many good balls, and then when you were kicking them, you and Chloe both actually, it would egg the ball together, and then you can't dribble it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So
a little frustrating.
Yeah. So anyways, we'd play basketball outside basically like every single night in the driveway. Come in for dinner and just talk about sports, basketball all the time at dinner, and we still do that now. So I don't know, what do you guys think about dinner table?
Yeah, so I think this is kind of just a look into the Marotta family dinner table and kind of an inside scoop at kind of what it's like to be with us at the dinner table, I guess, but also just to get some good information on what's going on in the world of sports. There's some good memories of when we were younger, and it's cool to be able to do this all together now as we're older and make something out of it.
Yeah. We just want you to feel like you're at the dinner table with us, and that might like take a second to get used to it, but that's kind of the vibe that we're going for, and we just want to talk sports. We'll probably talk a lot of basketball because that's what we really love. But yeah, we just want to talk about what's going on and what we would talk about at the dinner table. Just have those kind of conversations.
Yeah.
So that's where we're at with this podcast. We just want to tell you, if you don't know us, which anyone listening probably knows us.
The first 10 people, at least.
The people listening right now are definitely probably our best friends.
Those who live outside of Mech 1.
Yeah.
Skip forward for the next 35 seconds.
For our classic Marotta introduction.
Okay, so let's start with Chloe. Okay, well, first of all, I'm the oldest. Cameron, second. Chloe, third. And then we mentioned little baby sister, Kenna. So Chloe, I mean, where to even begin with you? But just got done playing Marquette basketball.
Yep. So last year I finished my 5th year, my COVID year at Marquette.
First team All Big East.
First team All Big East. Thank you, Carly. And, everyone that does know us knows how much Marquette means to us. We can go in on this more as we discuss stuff, but Cameron also played at Marquette. My dad played at Marquette. We had some grandparents who played at Marquette, so it's a long history. So that was an honor to play there. After my 5th year at Marquette, I went to Budapest, Hungary. It's going to be also some conversations we're going to have as well. I played basketball overseas professionally. Just came home for the holidays, and I'm staying home. So kind of going into my next adventure of life, which is a little bit confusing considering basketball has always been, what I've been holding on to, what's my plan the whole time.
Yeah.
And so I'm happy I get to sit here and talk about basketball because I think that makes me very excited.
And this was really Chloe's idea. Chloe spearheaded this whole thing. She's wanted to do this, so she really led the way with all of it.
I was alone in Budapest, Hungary.
Back in the day. She got home 2 days ago.
Yeah, 2 days ago I got home. But yeah, about 3 months ago I was sitting there I have nothing to do. And all I want to do is talk sports with my siblings. So
how was Budapest?
It was amazing. I mean, the city was wonderful. As I mentioned with the Marquette family, I've only lived in Milwaukee area my entire life. And so it was so different being somewhere else for the last 4 months. I mean, I evolved a lot as a person because of the things I learned and the culture and things like that. But man, that basketball is a little different out there. Don't regret a single thing at all. I love the experience. But yeah, it's different. And I think we can get into that a little bit deeper as we go. But obviously anyone listening to this and wants to play overseas basketball, there's a lot of good things, a lot of things you got to get used to and find out what's best for you.
What do you think biggest culture shock was outside of basketball?
I think, honestly, nothing against it, lackadaisical.
Everybody is?
Everyone, it's just...
Laid back.
Laid back, sorry.
Yeah.
Is that a
Well,
big word for me?
Yeah. It took you a second to spit it out. But.
Okay, yeah. So laid back. It's just, I went to the doctor's one time, and it takes about 5 hours just to get in the doctor. And I was thinking...
Free healthcare, though.
But that's why I was saying, this is why it's free. Because I sit there, and I waited, and one person checks your ear, and then you got to wait 2 hours for the next person to check your mouth, and 2 hours for the next person to check your nails.
You get a
I've never
specialist.
heard this.
It's unbelievable, So I was in that doctor's office thinking to myself, there has to be a better system. And I probably thought that in my head about the system stuff over there.
Yeah. Did you want to become a doctor instead of doing the podcast next, or how did that work?
I almost took over. I was like, I can check my own ears. I'm not waiting in
That's
line.
the thing about Chloe. She thinks she can do
What did you go in for?
Just a checkup.
Yeah.
All
Just
we need.
felt like it?
No,
you had to.
For the basketball,
Okay.
we needed a quick
Oh,
checkup.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, you were that bored? Like,
Yeah,
I should
yeah.
go get a checkup.
Yeah.
Go
no.
talk to somebody for a second here. Maybe the doctor has something to
How
say.
was like the English? Because she's ever since she's been home, she's been nonstop talk. Well, this isn't anything new, but like really nonstop talking. Even went to go get her hair cut and said she literally never shut up the whole time. So, did you feel like you could just not talk as much over there?
Well, it's funny because I keep on saying we'll get into this later because I feel like I literally have nonstop talking about the situation. So it's funny that you bring that up. But I mean, the English thing was definitely hard to get used to. But now that I can speak English like so smoothly and like normal,
English?
speak English.
Speaking English now?
Yes, it's so
What do
much.
you
couldn't
mean?
speak English before then?
No,
Well,
guys, I'm saying like you got
now that you're back home.
now that I'm back home, you got to.
Oh, okay.
All right,
I
that's
thought
a
you.
cut.
Oh my god.
We'll be cutting that one.
I thought you meant like you sat down with an English professor out there and learned a little bit more before you came back home, and now you feel more comfortable
No,
conversing with the public.
no, I'm saying I think
Okay.
I'm talking so much more because it's easier. Everyone I was with was Hungarian, so your English has to be maybe a little bit slower. I can't use words
Did
like
anyone understand
lackadaisical.
Yeah.
It's gotta be
Lackadaisical.
okay. Sorry.
You're saying like lacrosse, lackadaisical.
Laxatives.
Yeah.
Okay, just we'll pass that. But yeah, so that's probably why
Could
I'm
have sworn
talking
it
a
was
little bit more.
lackadaisical too, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
Carly, don't act like you
I
didn't
know,
think
yeah,
that.
Yeah.
That might be a whole new segment we have to put on here is
Dumb.
you guys jacking up words probably left and right or not knowing
Anything.
anything.
Yeah.
I'll have my faults too. I'm not going to say I'm perfect here, but we'll definitely have some moments like that.
We do take the reins.
Yeah.
I vote Carly is number one
But
with that stuff.
so
but
many
I'm
things that I
close
don't
second.
know. I look at you and you're like, I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
But okay, so you're back home. Everything's good.
Yep. Back home, everything's good. Heading into my next journey in life.
And we'll keep you updated on what she.
Keep you updated. I got a lot
On
more
that next
Budapest
chapter. Yes.
stories. I'll be correct here.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to hearing them.
Thanks.
Mhm. Yeah. I want like a Budapest story, like every podcast, because they're good.
Right.
I never even heard that Dr. one. Okay, so on to Cam.
Yeah.
How long ago did you graduate?
2019 graduated. Undergrad. Grad school 2021.
From Marquette. As we mentioned, played for Marquette as well.
Well, sat for Marquette. Practiced for Marquette. Walk on from Marquette. You know.
Preferred.
Yeah.
Preferred.
Yeah.
Mom-
Mentioned on the Jumbotron though the
Yes,
other night.
the other night at the
Me
Marquette
and
game.
my man Rob Rosina and then Mike Kennedy as well.
Yeah.
That was nice.
I mean, those are like the moments you remember as a kid, though. Like, I'm not just saying this.
Yeah.
It was super, super cool.
That was
because,
cool.
Yeah, when you're young, you see like, oh, you know, Wes Matthews, and then there he is.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, that was probably like a few months ago, but
Yeah.
I just like remember that stuff growing up.
Yep. Trav couldn't make it. He had a Christmas party, so then they
They
go to
do.
the walk-ons.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. You know, I saw Rob Jackson there. He was a little disappointed he didn't get put up on the
Yeah.
Jumbotron for the 19th time this season. So it
It was Cam's big moment.
It was.
And
It was nice.
the thing is I was there and I'm looking at him.
Yeah, you were
And
recording it? I didn't know. Did you guys know that was going to happen?
No, one of his friends recorded it.
Oh.
They knew, but I didn't know. And
Oh.
so I'm looking from a distance, and I see Cam. He's got his arm up. He's just chilling.
I didn't even know. I all of a sudden look up on the Jumbotron, and it's like a young freshman version of me. But I'm like thinking I don't know. I didn't even know what they're doing until it literally panned on me. And then I'm like, oh, that cameraman's right in my face and right next to me there.
So did somebody tell someone to film it or something like that?
I think Noreen probably
Oh,
Sarah
okay.
and
Noreen's
the group. Yeah.
the fiance. She's actually
Yep.
probably our one listener.
Yeah. Shout out Noreen.
Thanks for listening.
She tuned off of her musicals and put on the podcast in the car for once. Maybe she might be listening to this.
She would though. Okay, so now what's up?
Yeah, so now I'm working out here in Mequon. I'm the director at the facility here in Mequon. It's
What do you
going
do?
on my second year. I run the gym scheduled pretty much, and we have a bunch of tournaments and leagues and stuff like that. And so I work for Travis Diener and Steve Becker out here. It's a blast. We have a great time in the office, and it's a fun group to work for. And I also run a AU basketball program called Club 52. Carly representing early on. I like it. I'll probably have a lot of Club 52 on year on as we get going here.
We decided to all do
Chloe
gray
coaches.
gray sweatshirts today for
Yeah.
some reason.
Yeah, we didn't plan that.
We just opened up our Christmas gifts. We'll get into that a little bit, and all of us are wearing a Christmas
Very
outfit.
popular gray hoodies.
Gray
this
hoodies was
year.
the number one gift.
Not mad
Yeah.
at it. Not mad at it at all. But yeah, so Club 52, second season of that. It's going well. It's fun to work with all these kids, and especially in Mequon where obviously we all grew up, and it would have been fun to have an AU program when we were growing up.
Oh,
I
yeah, it
think.
would have been great. We traveled everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys did. I kind of try to get out of it all the time, but you guys traveled everywhere. So, yeah, it's nice to have that option.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun doing that, and then, still work with Marquette a little bit here and there with the NIL stuff and being a part of the Be the Difference collective. So, got a lot going on.
Cam does
It's
everything.
fun. Yeah.
Cam has very quickly become Mr. Mequon.
Yes.
Well, when you live here for 26 years.
Yeah, so maybe not as quick, but
yeah.
But I mean, walking into Jimmy John's with him is like I'm with Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
Shut up.
My boys are over there though. That's my guys.
That's your guys.
Aaron.
Jimmy John's in
Shout out,
Mequon.
Aaron.
Yeah, shout out Aaron if you're listening.
I thought I was gonna turn and see a poster of Cam on the wall.
Aaron Hall, my boy over there.
I love it.
Number one customer.
Hits me up, number 9, Italian nightclub.
Sponsor us,
Do
Jimmy
you
John's.
think it's Mac one for life for you?
We'll see. I never thought that. Would never have thought
I was
that.
going to ask.
I'm sure you guys would never have thought that.
No, but I would love.
I think I would love too. I mean, it's tough. I love living in Milwaukee right now, but
Yeah.
once you have a family and stuff, you gotta. I'm getting married too.
Yeah.
This summer, so I like living down in the Third Ward where we live right now. But once you have a family, a couple kids, who knows? You got to get a house, and so Mequon's a great spot.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. How about you?
Thanks.
Tell us a little bit about
Yeah.
yourself here, Car.
Thanks for asking.
Yeah. Or should we just move on?
Carly, give us the rundown. Carly's very successful. She,
Thanks.
Yeah, I mean she's young, 28, but she has a lot of things that she's done already. And
I'm laughing because we always forget our age, so I'm
Yeah.
glad you remember. Yeah.
But I think we had Carly kind of, as you can see, ask the questions, moderate a little bit for the podcast, just with
This
your.
is what Carly does. Carly
Yes.
talks on camera in front of a microphone. This is new for Chloe and I. And so Carly is going to be the lead point on all this.
Yeah.
Point guard, you would say.
Oh,
maybe.
love it. That's what I was
Yeah.
growing up.
Yeah.
the right to left cross.
I-
Never forget that.
I had a.
Hopefully you pass a little bit better on the podcast than you did at LC.
No. I threw dimes. Like, I'm not kidding. That was my thing. So, yeah, really good passer, but I always back to that. This has nothing to do with me now. Great passer, but I only had the crossover.
Specifically right to left. 'Cause when you can scout a right to left crossover, there's really not much more you can do.
I thought
We call that cookies going
Yeah.
on the other way.
Cookies.
I
Big
thought
six.
that crossover was.
It was
like,
high, too.
You thought?
It was a little high,
I do want to say
Those
something.
girls from St. Roberts were out there picking pockets.
No, it wasn't until we played Nicolay.
Nicolay.
I was like pretty good at the crossover, kind of had it. And then, I mean,
Who was on that Nicolay
oh
team?
man, best team ever.
Alex Cohen still plays right now. She's
Isn't
overseas.
Corey coaching that Nicolay team?
Corey
Yep.
was coaching. Corey Wolf's head coach at Homestead right now. She was the coach at Nicolay at the time.
They
Won a state championship.
Was that your year?
I think it was that year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then you're fine.
Yeah. But Gabby.
Alex Green, Ashley Green, Alex Cohen, Gabby,
Yeah.
Bronson,
Yeah. So I think it was Gabby
Courtney.
that was on me.
Gabby's tough. Yeah. She also does play overseas as well. Still.
Yeah.
Luxembourg.
Gabby is great. So she just kept her hand there, and I'm not kidding. Like, she stole it from me 15 times in a row. Like I couldn't get over because she would force me.
Yeah.
Right.
If you would have went
no,
with
she would force me left, and then I would try and cross over, and then it was just like boom, steal.
If you would have went with an in and out, maybe she might have just completely fallen over because she
Yeah.
was expecting the crossover so much.
Yeah, that's
You
true.
could have maybe like if you just randomly somehow hit an in and out on her.
Oh, I wanted to cry. Okay, yeah. So now I didn't play in college, despite like many offers. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't.
Shout out Rippin'.
No. Shh. Okay, so, so I went into sports broadcasting, but I wanted to do that since I was young, 5 years old. Which we wanted to like start this podcast off with a video of when we were young. So we'll see if we did
can-
that. But
yeah.
but
We'll see how much time Chloe has on her hands now.
yeah, she's in charge of that.
I am in charge.
So now I've been 5 years out of college, went to Indiana University, started working in lacrosse as a weekend sports anchor, and now I'm sports director in Madison, and it's been great. So, yeah.
Youngest female sports director, only female sports director?
Yeah.
In
First.
So youngest and only.
Yeah.
and first.
And oldest female sports director. Youngest, oldest, only.
Everything.
Yeah.
I told you, she's got a lot under her.
Yeah.
Successful.
So it's been
28-year-old.
fun. Love Madison, and I'm sure throughout this podcast we'll like touch on just like things we all do during the week. You'll get to know what we're up to more. So
And I'm sure we'll talk a lot about, we're a Marquette family here. Carly lives in Madison now, follows the Badgers religiously, basketball, football, volleyball, hockey, all of the whole deal.
on Wisconsin.
On Wisconsin for Carly and off Wisconsin for Chloe.
Chloe and Cameron.
Except I like the volleyball team.
Yes.
And the football.
You like the football
I like
team,
the football.
Yeah.
Fickle. Hopefully he gets it moving out there.
Yeah. So we'll be talking a lot about Wisconsin sports in general. All right. So Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. I mean, I can't believe we're recording this on Christmas. I want to say that. 'cause
Yes. Yeah.
Kind of cool. If we do this for a little while, you look back at our first episode
Yeah.
on Christmas
Yeah.
2023.
I know. And, our second episode might be Christmas 2020,
Yeah.
2024.
The only other time we're all together.
No, we're actually going to make an effort to be together more, but that is funny. So, yeah, how was your Christmas?
I mean, Christmas was amazing, specifically for me because it felt like I was gone for so long.
Seriously,
Yeah.
and then to come home to Christmas.
So, yeah, and I was telling our Uncle Giggs, we'll talk about him a little bit as well, but Giggy is what we call him, Craig. I was telling him about how much Christmas spirit I had the last 4 months because I haven't felt this way since I was 5 years old,
Yeah.
waiting for Santa to come because I was like, I got to get home, I got to experience Christmas. So it was everything that I could imagine, just
Okay.
being here.
So, I have to ask, do you have a good Christmas?
Yeah, I did.
Okay,
Go ahead.
great. We all love giving gifts.
Yes.
So, what was your favorite present that you gave?
Favorite one I gave would be yours. Carly had
It was the best present ever.
Yep, Carly had a nice article written about her in the Madison. What is the
Wisconsin State Journal.
Yep, Wisconsin
Jim
State Journal.
Polzine.
Awesome article.
Mm-hmm.
Put
We'll
a
have
little
to
plaque
link it.
together. Yeah, that was my favorite gift. To
It
give
was
out today.
sweet. Yeah, he I don't even know how to describe it. Put it on a plaque.
Yeah.
The whole story. It was a huge plaque.
Yep.
It's awesome. It made me cry. It made everyone cry.
Yeah.
It
We
got us.
we tend to cry.
Yeah, it got two rounds of applause.
Yeah.
If you get one round of applause, it's a really, really good gift. But it got two, so
Yeah.
it was a great gift. Yeah, so it was a good Christmas. We're gonna have some Christmas soup soon. Our grandma's favorite Christmas soup, but
The
all in
best
all,
Italian Christmas soup.
yeah,
Call it Italian, but-
tortellini.
yeah. And our mom killed Christmas, so she's the best.
As always.
Yeah.
In a good way. I thought you were going to say in a bad way.
Oh.
She killed Christmas.
No, she
And
killed
then-
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I normally can't talk. Yeah, that was what I meant. So,
Yeah.
okay, so this is what we're going to do. This is what we're thinking we're going to do with the podcast is we're going to have 3 courses since the dinner table, and we're going to have 3 different subjects that we talk about each time we do the podcast. So we're going to get into that, but hopefully that makes sense, and we'll just see how it goes. So, yeah, 3 courses. You want me to start?
Yeah, 3 courses.
All right, you start us off. Kick us off.
The first course tonight is going to be about Badger football. They're going to the bowl game, ReliaQuest Bowl. They play on New Year's Day, which is like pretty sick.
They always seem to find a way to put the Badgers on New Year's Day, don't they?
Yeah, so
That's
Because of how they travel.
yeah, they travel so well. Yeah. So they play on New Year's Day. They play in Tampa, so I'm heading to that game.
Is that at the Buccaneers?
Yeah,
That's pretty
Raymond
sweet.
James, yeah. So I'm leaving Friday for that, and they play LSU. But I guess my course, which I'm curious what you guys think, is for these bowl games, like if you're not playing in the national title game, there are so many players that aren't playing, like whether they declare for the draft.
It sucks now.
Yeah, okay.
It sucks.
Okay.
There's been bowl games going on for the last week. Normally, what me and my buddies would do, we'd all put a pool together and everybody picks the bowl. You don't even know who's playing in these bowl games nowadays. It's backup players, and it's where they used to be like a New Year's Day bowl game for the Badgers would have meant something.
Right.
Everybody would be fired up to play in it.
Yeah.
The fans would be fired up to watch it. And now it's like, I didn't even know they were playing LSU until you told me.
Yeah.
And if they
And
were
that's a
playing
huge
LSU
game.
in the past, SEC team, even 3 years ago, they're playing LSU. LSU, first off, Jaden Daniels, he would have been playing in the game.
Yeah.
But now, because he's going to be a first-round pick, he's gone. And,
Yeah. You don't necessarily blame the people that are going to the league.
Because it's the
It's more
decision
the
you have to make. It's like Jaden Daniels, obviously, he's
Yeah.
not going to play in it because what does he have to gain?
Yeah.
Nothing.
What do you have
Yeah.
to gain?
Right.
He gets injured, it just screws
Yeah.
him.
I would have loved to see Braylon playing it, but I, also understand why he wouldn't play in it either. But
So how do you? So what do you think could be a suggestion for?
no,
that?
I
Or-
mean,
or
I
do you just
think
quit bowl
it's
games?
getting no. I just think it's getting like worse and worse. But because what bothers me is the transfer portal now.
Yeah.
That's why so many people aren't playing. They're all transferring.
Yeah.
So it's a weird thing. It's like when the season ends, like the coaches really have to be like, who's in and who's out.
Got a whole new team.
Whole new team for one last game.
There was how many? Over 1,000 people in the transfer portal?
I don't know. I bet.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
you got a whole new team. You're just cycling people in and out. These new quarterbacks that are coming in and entering the transfer portal are essentially, even if they play really well, like Gabriel down at Oklahoma was a monster this year. He's in the transfer portal immediately after their season is over, and he's heading to Oregon.
Yeah.
Even though he probably liked it at Oklahoma, and he
Right.
did well. And if he came back next year, he was going to be a Heisman candidate
Right.
early on. But now he's going to Oregon, and it's
Yeah.
like
When did the teammates find out that he was transferring?
he probably told him right after their last regular season game. Because nowadays,
And they still have a game to play? Or
yeah,
no?
they still have their bowl game, a big bowl game too.
It's so interesting to me. That'd be very difficult as an athlete to, play with some players that aren't fully in.
It seems like that almost. I mean, it's so easy to be half out now. Because
So
it was forced upon you to be fully committed, because if you transferred, you'd have to sit out a season. It's so easy now to transfer and go play somewhere, both in college sports now and just in general, that, you understand it because coaches leave and they get to go coach right away. But sometimes for these players, I think it actually hurts them. They get kind of lost in the shuffle a little bit because now everybody's transferring.
Yeah. I think for Wisconsin, I mean, it'll be good because obviously they have the new coach and the new staff and everything. So I think Fickle's really got to figure out like who's in on this new system, who's in with us,
I
who's
think
committed.
it makes it easier for new coaches that are rebuilding their program now as well, because normally in the past they'd have to rebuild with freshmen coming in or the young guys, and that takes longer, obviously. But now they can go in the transfer portal and they can get 15 new guys coming in who are juniors and seniors.
Right.
And they can play right away.
Yeah, and the last thing I'll say about it, though, is Wisconsin. I mean, I don't know if every coach says this, maybe, but Luke Fickle just says he doesn't want, like, the goal isn't to use the transfer portal. The goal, but it's hard because it's part of football.
You're an idiot if you don't.
Yeah.
Because everyone's using it, and
Yeah.
there's good
But you
players
got to
in
say,
it.
like, their goal is not to rely on
You
it.
want to, all these coaches coach talk, and they want to build their program through guys who want to come to Wisconsin originally and who want to be there and
Right.
stuff. But now, just a new landscape these days.
The experience is something you just can't compete with. Like the experience of a transfer.
Yeah.
It's just so big. You have these freshmen that come in, but football freshmen, they're redshirting every single time.
Yeah.
So if you can have a guy that can come in and impact the field like that right away, it's
Yeah.
tough. But you got to be a good coach in order to coach that kind of culture.
That's what Wisconsin's doing at quarterback, but that'll be another course for another time. All right, so Cameron, are you going next?
Yeah,
Let's
absolutely.
continue with
Today we watched a lot of football. Obviously, it's Christmas, and one of my takes today is just how bad the Kansas City Chiefs have looked the last couple
What's
weeks.
going on?
Obviously this is their second year without Tyreek Hill. Travis Kelce's Travis Kelce, and he's a monster, but they don't have many weapons around him anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes. Everyone would say he's the best quarterback in the league, but the way he's looked over the whole season, he's been average.
Mm-hmm.
And, you're watching the game today, and the 6 and 8 Raiders come into Arrowhead.
They're kind of on fire, though.
They're playing well since they got the new coach, but they're 6 and 8 coming into Arrowhead, and
Right.
Arrowhead and the Kansas City Chiefs have everything to win, and it didn't even look good at all.
Did they have like negative 18 yards after the first quarter or something like
Horrible,
that?
yeah. Patrick Mahomes, obviously, he's under pressure every play. Max Crosby's all over him, and honestly, like, who cares? I mean, the Chiefs, whatever, they'll be fine. But just like in the NFL right now, I think there's a lot of mediocrity. It's weird. Every team's almost seems like
Yeah, I feel like there's not a clear. Well, the 49ers.
they're great,
But is there
49ers are
another
good.
clear cut like?
Even the Eagles, who people thought
Right.
were really good, are stumbling. The
We're
game's
watching
on
right now.
They're only up 8 against the Giants at home, and they're gonna on.
Oh,
pace
they're about to
lose.
win. They just won.
The Giants did.
No, the Eagles. Well, let's watch. Oh
Hey.
yeah, interception. Yeah, so they win it.
So they won. That's good
We
for my
got a-
fantasy team, actually. I got the Eagles defense. Shout out Ryan.
A live
Hopefully
reporting.
that just,
Live reporting.
live
Yeah.
reporting.
That was big time.
I'm
was
dying to
kinda
ask
cool.
Jake how Jalen Hurts did because
He did well.
that's not a good thing.
Jake's going against him.
Yeah.
Landon.
Okay.
I'll always support Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, so
like the NFL is just it's tough to watch right now.
yeah,
It's not
it's not super.
not a
exciting.
good product
Yeah.
unless your team, unless there's 2 good quarterbacks on the field and they have 2 good offensive lines, and they can. It used to be like even 2 years ago it was an offense dominated league, and now all of a sudden teams can't score. Quarterbacks passer ratings are way down. Like Patrick Mahomes had a passer rating of 31 today,
Oh, that's crazy.
and he was sacked 4 times,
Poor Taylor
and he's
Swift
got no one to
watching
throw
this
to.
one.
I mean, so.
Yeah.
It's just I wish the NFL was a little. It's getting a little. It's a bad product right now. Tough to bet on too, which is an issue.
Yeah. Big issue.
For our guy.
All right, Chloe, what do you got?
All right. We talked about this, Marquette, right? We're going to talk a lot about Marquette. We're going to have a little Marquette update for you guys each episode. But I slid my Marquette team into my course today.
Okay.
Because
It's well deserved.
it's well-deserved, and
Absolutely.
so my course today is the Marquette women's basketball team is 12-0. It's the best start in program history. We got 3 players with Jordan King, Mackenzie Hare, and Liza Carlin all over 15 points per game, which is just huge because every single person on that team right now can score the basketball. And I know Coach Duffy very well, and Coach is really working on their defense, and they're improving every single game with that. But man, on that offensive end, it's something really special to watch.
They're
It's
firing
fun.
on all cylinders, huh?
Firing all
Can we
cylinders.
talk about Kenzie?
I mean, we can talk about Kenzie all this entire podcast.
She's crazy.
Mackenzie Hare, we got to check on her percentage actually.
We'll have to get her on.
We'll have to get her on at some point
Yeah.
on the podcast. But she was shooting the number 1 percentage in the country for women's basketball from the 3-point line.
Up until maybe still, but we checked recently.
Maybe
Did
still,
she
but
have a bad game? No.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, she's got to be leading it right now,
Yeah.
And I mean, she's averaging about 4 3-point makes per game. So her and Caitlin Clark are right there at the top, and a girl from TCU as well. So I mean, when that's the list you're on, it's pretty
Yeah.
impressive.
Wait, what's Marquette's biggest win?
So right now they've pretty big wins with number 23 at the time, Illinois.
Yeah.
Number 20, Creighton. And then they won the Fort Myers championship. Two good teams. They beat Boston College and Arkansas.
And
So
they
those
beat
were
Memphis.
And Memphis back home. So the two teams in the Fort Myers, and they beat Memphis. So yeah, I mean, they got a good schedule. It's not like you can argue that they're not playing good teams. You know, they're 12-0. Creighton was the Big East game, first Big East game of the season. They came out at home and really just looked great.
And that speaks to the older transfers coming in too and stepping in right away.
Exactly.
I mean, Franny's a big part of that.
Franny's doing so well. She's the leading rebounder on the team right now. Yeah. She's averaging 9.2 rebounds per game, which is huge. That's crazy. That's so valuable to the team.
Yeah.
Franny was the player of her conference last year. She played for Lehigh. She was the player of the year. So her and Liza Carlin played AU together growing up in Minnesota. And Liza, you know, I was leaving. Franny's my height. So she was like, you know what? I got this really good player out of Minnesota. Like, let's go check her out. Coach checked her out, loved her. And now her and Liza are playing together again, and they're doing a phenomenal job, fitting right in, which is like great. So, I mean, I'm really looking forward to the season with them. The next game that they have is UConn at UConn, December 31st. This is probably the first time in a very long time, if the first time ever, that UConn's ranked number 15, Marquette's ranked number 18. So it's probably the closest ranked UConn Marquette game probably all time.
Because UConn has like lost a few games.
Yeah, UConn's 9-3 right now.
Okay.
Tough schedule though. Very tough schedule. So, you know, they've kind of gone down in the rankings a little bit, but they've got injuries every year.
How's Paige looked since coming back?
So I watched almost every single one of their games. The first couple games, you know, you're anticipating a lot from her, and she knows that as well. But now she's gotten kind of the groove on a little bit. She's playing so much, just so smooth. That's her game, is just smooth. She's just smart. She controls their offense so well.
You root for Paige because all of her injuries and stuff, but she's such a good player. I hope she can get back to where she was at before her ACLs and stuff.
Yeah, and she's competitive. She's fun to watch because she's trash talking all the time, and she's getting, you know, she doesn't let people get in her head, and it's cool. So,
and the last time UConn came to Marquette whooped that ass.
Yeah,
so.
Absolutely. You can say loud for the people in the back.
Unforgettable.
Yeah.
Game. That was the most fun game.
Yeah.
That we probably watched.
Okay, so what's it like? You were at the Big East tournament.
For the men's?
No,
for the women's.
Because I was going to ask what it's like playing at UConn. But those fans at the Big East tournament, like, do you remember that?
Yeah.
It was a home game.
Yeah, it was.
It was.
They travel.
Yeah. What's it like playing at UConn then?
So they're going out to UConn, and oh my God, it's the craziest thing ever because
sold out.
It's sold out every time, and they're clapping the entire time before the first bucket. So the whole time, I can't do it with my mic, but they're just like clapping, this slow clap, and everyone's doing it in rhythm the entire time. So you're kind of like, you're just listening to this. You're trying to get your feet set. You got Gino Ariemo right there. You got these UConn players. You're looking around, and every banner is a national championship.
I'm sure they get every
Final
call
Four.
over there, too.
They get every single call. You can't even argue with it.
I can hear that from you. Yeah. From the Big East.
Well, Gino gets every call no matter if he's at home or at the Adley Center or at the Al McGuire Center.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's intense, and they go, UConn, and they're chanting it the whole time, and but oh my God, it's so fun. I remember the first time I played there, I was looking up, and I was like, this is exactly what I wanted to do in college basketball. We got Augie. Okay. So I'm looking forward to that game. It's gonna be tough atmosphere. The first time for a lot of these girls playing UConn, and we got a lot of experience with. Basically the 5 starters have all played UConn except for Franny. And so they can kind of lead the way with that. Jordan does a phenomenal job keeping everyone steady with that and coach, but it's tough. Playing for UConn the first time is very tough, and you can't make a couple mistakes in a row. It's really what you got to focus on.
So a couple of these courses, like, we'll probably talk about on the next podcast now, because we'll talk about the Badgers bowl game, whatever happened, and then whatever happens at UConn. So there'll be good follow-ups for all this stuff.
Yeah. And hopefully maybe we get into the Packers making the playoffs at some point.
Yeah, that was going to be a course, but we'll save it. We'll see what happens. Well, Sunday Night Football we have for New Year's Eve. So next podcast, we'll have a lot to talk about.
Absolutely.
As well. So one thing we are hoping to do for most episodes is to have a guest. Like we mentioned, the Kenzie Harrod, we'd love to have her on sometime. Like, we have a lot of people that we'd really like to have on. So that's something we would do now is have a guest. I mean, we talked a little bit longer here for this first episode just so you could get to know us and get to know our ideas for everything. But it'll probably be around this length, which includes a guest interview. So that's something we're excited about. Anything else you guys want to add that you're looking forward to with this podcast or looking forward to coming up?
Go ahead.
Some big Marquette games coming up,
Yep.
men's games. They play at Creighton, Creighton plays at Marquette on Saturday.
Sold out.
Sold out. Going to be a packed environment.
Which
It'll
is
be
fun
fun.
because it's still Christmas break for the students. You know? So I
You know
love
what,
that.
though? Now, it is, but now that Marquette's back to,
Yeah.
killing it, top 10 in the country, the students come back now.
I love
They
it.
come back from break,
That's
which is
huge.
great.
I love it. And they love this team. The students love this team. Like, they have done a phenomenal job. I'm going to shout out Josh Levin, first of all. He runs the social media for Marquette men's
Yep.
basketball. Unbelievable job.
Yep.
These videos, the way that they connect with the audience and the students, this is why the students are coming back before Christmas break, because they just saw a video of Oso and Tyler, really embracing themselves, and they're like, we want to get there to watch those guys.
No, it's great. They love that team. And
Yeah.
They should. They love Shaka, and Shaka's done a fantastic job. Mm-hmm. And they got to bounce back a little bit because they lost to Providence. Mm-hmm. Tough place to play, the Dunkin' Donuts Center,
Yeah.
obviously, but hopefully they bounce back. It'll be fun to watch.
Lucky, though, because top 3 teams in the Big East ended up losing, too. So we got Marquette lost, UConn lost, and Creighton lost. So it's going to be really competitive. We knew that. Big East is always competitive, but kind of you can maybe smile a little bit after Providence because it's like, okay, everyone lost.
Right. That's true.
But, yeah, looking forward to hearing about that Creighton game. We'll all be there, so that'll be fun.
Yeah.
Have to bring the mics for a live update, maybe.
I know. Minus me. I won't be there, but that's okay.
Yeah.
All right.
First ever episode.
Is it a wrap?
It's a wrap.
I'm
All
ending
right.
with a coughing attack.
Yeah. I was gonna say.
All right. Thank you for listening. Have a good night.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.